Hello, everybody. Oh, I don't think I can hear it. Can I?
I can hear you. Hi, Eva. Do you want
All
to go ahead and share your screen? I'll stop sharing.
Yes, and let me also,
Alrighty.
let's see. Share. All right, looks like people can see my screen. So let me.
Yes, looks good. Once you get in presenter mode.
Yes, I will in a second. I just realized I want to hook up my AirPods.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. 1, 2. All right. Just made you a co-host too.
Great, thank you. And do I have the workshop background on? I'm
You
sorry, I cannot
do
see.
not.
Oh no, I had it ready. So let me check where I can. Unfortunately, I don't have these controls when I'm sharing. Let's let me try this. I was ready for it and it didn't work.
That's okay. And
how about
there
now?
you go. Yep, it works.
So, okay, I'm legit. All right. Right. So maybe while we're waiting, and we do have people online, and it's kind of towards the end of the second day. I just have some questions. Maybe people can voice over through chat or through unmute yourself and comment. You know, do people like the format of this workshop that was spread out over a couple of days, or do people want to have more, you know, consolidated things? Are there some topics that people would like to hear about in the future? Well, I would love to, myself and the team would love to hear about it more.
And don't forget, you are muted right now, so you might have to unmute yourself if you want to chime in. But I'll start off with, personally, I did like the break. You know, having this on Tuesday and then Thursday was really great.
Yeah, so definitely from the organizer's perspective, I think that makes it easier to take a breather and regroup, so to speak. I was wondering if the participants also felt the same way, or do you forget by day 2, you forget that the workshop was going on?
Eva, it is Michaela.
Hi, Michaela.
Hi. One thought that comes to my mind, if you are trying to engage people that also teaches, they may teach Tuesday and Thursday.
That's a good point.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that could help to engage people if they have teaching responsibility to have Monday and Tuesday or Monday and Thursday, so that you have
yes. Yeah, that's a very good point, Michaela. We'll definitely yeah, make a note of that.
I don't know how many people you had on the workshop that have teaching responsibility. Now, the semester in some university has not started, some has started, so it depends. Maybe not a problem if it is during a period in which there are no classes.
Yeah, so I think, you know, various places have already started, so we should definitely think of this as an issue. I also seen some workshops do 1 week and then the next week, so kind of spread it out of a period of 2 weeks. That, at least to me, seems like it's a long period, but I think by the following week I would forget about the previous workshop.
Yeah, the weekend in between is not a good thing.
All right, so I think we're going to start in a couple minutes. Yeah, we still have a few minutes for people to join in. I saw in one of our panels, we had a cat made an appearance. I wish I could bring some entertainment like that, but my dog is a little bit too big for this. He should take over the whole show.
Yeah, I think the other calls are just letting out.
All right.
So people should be heading over here now.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. That's why we have this break, to give people time to move around.
I wonder, I think that a lot of you were active on Slack. Did you find that that was a good communication tool, just to keep you updated? And just so you know, we do plan on using Slack for further communication about anything following the workshop. Maybe just, you know, your thoughts on Slack, anybody who's here.
And I hear some people, well, I see people commenting on chat that they like the spread of the days. It's easier to make it into the schedule. People like the format, and the topics were good. They like the pace. We up for another day, so should we add Friday? But did appreciate the Wednesday off. So great to hear these comments. We are, and Slack was helpful. I'm also very interested in seeing how we can improve. So we appreciate the fact that you like what we have done, and but you know, also some comments for improvement to also be useful. We want to improve as we go along. And I see some people liked Slack but didn't have time to check it out. As Wendy mentioned, to stick around. So that might be a good place for us to keep on building on the momentum from this workshop. And Wendy, I'll wait for you. Go ahead to let me know when to start.
Yeah, people are still heading in. Oh, there's a whole bunch of them right now.
Okay,
So
okay, okay.
I'd say, yeah,
All
give
right,
it two minutes.
yeah, no problem. One thing that I think is nice about Slack is that you can, you get to know people, even new people. So maybe we can think in the future of how to add on information about, encourage people to say, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I do this and that. Maybe even after the workshop. I saw this done in Europar, a conference that's coming up next week. And I saw people just, doing introductions. I'm a PhD student and I work in this area, or I'm a researcher and I work in this area. So I think that might be a good addition for the future for us. Obviously, we know some of you and each other, but I think we can grow this community a little bit better.
All right, I'd say you should go for it. We've got a good group here. Whenever you're
Awesome.
ready.
Awesome. So thank you very much. My name is Eva Dielman. I'm from the University of Southern California, and I'm the PI on the Cyber Infrastructure Center of Excellence Pilot project. Oops. Oops. Too fast. And first of all, thank you so much to all of you for participating. This really could not have been done without your enthusiasm, your questions, and your interest in the various topics that we had presented. My big thanks to the organizers, Wendy, who I'm sure you know all too well right now with all the invites, messages, lots of information on Slack. She's been really the mastermind of this, and you'll be really amazed to know that this is her first virtual workshop that she organized. So this is awesome. And big thanks also to Todd Stone, who's in charge of communications and part of Research SOC. So in this inaugural workshop that we had together, we tried to bring you some of the topics that we thought you'd be interested in. And you saw some of our members talking about them in the office hours, giving presentations. We also had outside presentations from people outside of CICS Pilot and from Research SOC. And since you had all these pieces in your mind, I also wanted to help you connect them into the bigger picture, in particular into what the Cyber Infrastructure Center of Excellence Pilot is all about. So we're really about connecting CI for connecting people. We've been awarded in 2018 to develop a model and a plan for a Cyber Infrastructure Center of Excellence. And we really want the center to be dedicated to the enhancement of cyber infrastructure for science, to be a platform for knowledge sharing and community building. So that's what you're participating in these past few days. To bring a forum for discussions about not only technical issues, but also cyber infrastructure sustainability and workforce development and training. When large projects that have advanced cyber infrastructure architectures and designs are being established or improved, we want to be a key partner in these efforts and provide our expertise and also learn from these projects as they develop over time. Currently, we're fostering working group discussions around the science data lifecycle. So you heard Anya Ban-Mandal talk about this in the office hours. And also around the area of identity management, we're doing this in partnership with Trusted CI. Altogether, we're building a community by also partnering with others. So on this effort, for example, with Research SOC, on the identity management with Trusted CI, we also have a partnership with the Science Gateway community infrastructure and the Open Science Grid. We all have the goal of supporting science today. You saw some of us already on the various Zooms. So these were a part of a CICS pilot, are a number of institutions. In addition to USC, we have University of Notre Dame, University of Utah, Renzi, and we are partnered with Trusted CI, where we co-fund personnel. At USC, we have expertise in automation, resource management, workflows, and as you know from Wendy, a lot of project management and now virtual workshop organization experience as well. At Renzi, we have expertise in resource management, networking, clouds, and social science. University of Notre Dame brings with it its expertise in workforce development, sensors, semantic technologies. Utah has a lot of expertise in data management, visualization, clouds, large-scale cyber infrastructure deployment, crisis informatics, and social computing. At Indiana University, we also have expertise in data archiving, and as I mentioned, in cybersecurity, we are partner with Trusted CI. So part of our work on the CICS Pilot is to develop a mission for the eventual Cyber Infrastructure Center of Excellence. And as part of our mission is to provide leadership, expertise, and active support to cyber infrastructure practitioners at NSF large facilities and throughout the research ecosystem in order to enable ongoing evolution of our technologies, our practices, and our field, ensuring the integrity and effectiveness of a cyber infrastructure upon which research and discovery depend. So in order to fulfill our mission, we've developed a model of various engagements that we conduct with the community, with individual projects. So we have a gamut from deep engagement, topical discussions, and community building efforts. As part of a deep engagement, we are engaging with one, sometimes two large facilities. We identify a topic or a set of topics that are important but not fully solved by the large facility. And then we conduct focused discussions around the topics. We used to have in-person meetings that we found very useful, but since the COVID-19 pushed us all online, we're doing everything virtually, and it seems to work. It's maybe not as rewarding sometimes, or doesn't build as much personal relationships, but we're making it work. And we're doing also some hands-on work with various large facilities. As part of our work, we develop engagement templates where we define the scope, we set expectations, and identify products that a particular working group will develop. Some of these products include documents, papers in various publications. We also develop prototypes. Sometimes we have schema implementations, and we also do demonstration projects. Also, we found that a number of topics are important across various LFs. So for example, the issues of cloud migration that were addressed today in the panel is one of these topics that we think is important, especially moving forward. So these will categorize as topical discussions, where we identify such a topic, and then we facilitate virtual discussion sessions at conferences. We collect and share experiences that large facilities and other projects have this in particular area. And then ultimately we'll distill best practices of how to do various things, such as cloud migration, for example, whatever various considerations. And as part of these topical discussions, we may also discover opportunities for shared infrastructure across a number of large facilities. And finally, we have community building type of engagements where we identify related efforts. So for example, we identified a research SOC as one of our partners. We collect information and disseminate information about the broad community activities, as we try to do over the past couple of days. And we also maintain a living resource for community information. So the website that we created for this workshop, the Slack channels, they'll be in place for you to come back to and look at any further developments. And we also hope to host other community activities. And each of these working groups that we form or community building efforts have leaders and a set of work products that we produce. In terms of deep engagement, so our really truly deep engagement was with NEON. It started at the beginning of the project in 2018. This was a particularly fortuitous time because NEON was just went operational, and they're looking at the infrastructure and deciding whether they want to and where they want to make any improvements to the project. And to the infrastructure. And in terms of this deep engagement with NEON, we identified a number of working groups on topics that were of interest to NEON and to us as well. And some of them are listed here. So you see in this table the working group name, its goals, and the products that they generated. So these slides will be available online, so I'm not going to go into many details, but just to tell you in terms of data capture, which really focuses on capturing data at the sensors. We've done some prototypes and demos that are available on GitHub, looking at the technologies in this area. We also looked at tried to understand the data lifecycle of large facilities and the related issues of disaster recovery. From that, we generated a disaster recovery template, and we also filled it in with IceCube as an example. And we also had a number of webinars on the topic about best practices for NSF large facilities. We also, with NEON, explored the issues of data processing. So Steve talked about the Pachyderm workflow management system that they use in NEON. And so together we explored the benefits and drawbacks of selected workflow systems, and we wrote a paper about it and presented at a conference. We also looked at issues of data storage, curation, and preservation, in which we basically looked at how the data that's collected by NEON can inform developments within communities such as ESIP on schema.org and adapting the schema to the needs of a NEON science. We also looked at two other things. One was data visualization and dissemination and identity management. And here, the technologies initial demos that we presented to NEON were actually adopted and incorporated into the NEON cyber infrastructure. For example, to present the aerial data in a more user-friendly fashion to the NEON community, and also to connect to CI logon to be able to manage the identities of NEON users. And finally, we also have an engagement with large facilities working group that basically tries to disseminate information about the project and our goals throughout the community at various meetings, community meetings, and also for publications. So this was the work with NEON in 2018, 2019. Since then, we've also engaged with other projects. So we had an engagement with NEON and NCAR. The goal of this for the two projects was to combine the NEON ecosystem data with NCAR atmospheric and land modeling capabilities and develop a plan of how you would go about doing this within a cloud environment. And so this type of work would then enable discoveries with integrated capabilities of the two large facilities. Our role in this engagement was to consult on cloud technologies, including looking at aspects of data management, containers, and others. And we helped inform what eventually became NEON's and NCAR proposal to NSF to conduct this work. And hopefully when the proposal is funded, we also we expect to engage further with two large facilities and to continue our discussion. Another engagement that we are currently involved with is with SAGE and GAGE. So SAGE is a seismological facility for advancement of geoscience. And GAGE is a geodetic facilities for the advancement of geoscience as well. Having a common goal, we're also looking at developing a common cloud platform to pilot the migration of a collective data resources and services from what is currently an in-house solution for both of these large facilities to a common infrastructure. When we came into the engagement with SAGE and GAGE, we already had well-established working groups within a number of areas. So we're looking at collecting high-level requirements from the community, developing and designing a ConOps of how this common cloud platform would behave, developing an architecture to support the needs of the users and the ConOps, and then finally design the platform. So we embedded our CI/COE pilot team members within these working groups, and we helped with commenting on the documents that the common cloud platform participants were designing. We also discussed various best practices and whatever in the areas of ConOps and cloud architectures. And so we are, but to capture some of this information, we're also developing a companion document that would generalize some of these aspects of cloud migration considerations, resource orchestration, and others to the general community. So we'll make it more broadly available, looking at issues of fair data principles, identity management as well. So look for this information to come up on our CI/COE Pilot website. Finally, we also have collaborative engagements that we engage in. So, for example, in collaboration with Trusted CI, we have an active identity management working group, which meets every month. They have speakers that discuss specific topics that are relevant to the large facilities, such as, for example, CI logon. And most of the discussions actually have been focused, and engagements that this group is doing were around the issues of federated identity management. So the academic research fleet engaged, for example, exploring solutions and developing the demonstrations with this as part of this engagement. Also, Schema, which looks at the multi-messenger astrophysics collaboration, is dealing with issues of identity management, and so we're helping with their prototype there. And our final engagement, even broader. So the previous one was just with Trusted CI. This is a broader engagement in which we participate in an effort that's led by Trusted CI and others, and you can see all the participants at the bottom of the slide. And so the Trustworthy Data Working Group really looks at what it means to have security for open science. So we're developing guidance on how to protect data while still maintaining the open science principles, and how to improve scientific productivity and trust in the results that you're obtaining from using science data. The first thing that this group has done was develop a community survey, looking at what other concerns that various communities have around the issues of data security. And so there are 111 participants, and the report has just been made recently available, and you can see the link there. There also was a presentation at the PERC conference a couple of weeks ago on the topic. And the next activity for this working group, and these are groups that anybody is welcome to join, is to create a guidance for science project and cyber infrastructure developers that others can use and adopt in their practices. So finally, if you, in terms of what is next for us for the CI/COE pilot, obviously we want to drop the pilot and build a cyber infrastructure center of excellence. And we're working towards that goal, and we will continue to connect cyber infrastructure, connect science, and connect people. We look forward to working with CI practitioners, CI facilitators on various campuses and large facilities, the computer scientists and domain scientists that contribute to our collective cyber infrastructure. We'll also most likely host a workshop on cyber infrastructure for large facilities, hopefully in the next year. And we're thinking of hosting smaller events, this larger event every 2 years, with smaller thematically focused events in the interim. So issues, for example, like cloud migration might be one of the topics that we organize a workshop around. But we really would like to hear from you about what type of issues you would like to discuss and have these meetings about. And we also participate in other community building events organized by others. We also are happy to support other related projects. So Kirky is working on a project to understand the impact of COVID-19 on NSF large facilities, and we look forward to collaborating with him on that topic. And then I mentioned NSF workshops on cyber infrastructure for large facilities. We're part of these workshops in 2017 and 2019, and the 2 reports are available on the facilitiesci.org website. Also, I want to note one of the workshops organized this spring before we went away remotely. This was a workshop organized by Valeria Pascucci on Smart CI, and they just released a workshop report as well, which is available at the URL that you see on the screen. Then I also want to, before we conclude with some final questions and discussion, I'd like to mention 2 community events that are part of our Alliance for Cyber Infrastructure that CICOE, Trusted CI, and Science Gateways is part of. We have in September, there's the 2020 NSF Cybersecurity Summit for Large Facilities and Cyber Infrastructure that's coming up. It's going to be obviously an online event, and the registration is already open. And in October, there's a Gateways Conference, Science Gateways, that is divided in 2 weeks. 1 week is focused on tutorials, and then the main conference is the following week. And they're looking for volunteers and community participation. So please check out the website and the programs that they have. All right, so I'll finalize this with some questions for you. So first of all, we will send out a short survey, which we promise will take you less than 5 minutes to fill out. We basically want to collect input for the future. And we would like to know also if there's, at this point, after I finish with the questions, I would like people to have interact via chat, or please voice your comments. We would love to hear your voices. Is there some cybersecurity or cyber infrastructure training that you would like to see from us in the future? Would it make sense to have periodic office hours forums? So we tried the office hours for the first time at this meeting. So is this something that people found useful? And if so, what topics would you like to hear about? So clouds, I think, probably will stay on the menu. Are there some other formats that you think are useful? What other community activities, working groups you think we should try to start up together? And then I posed that question at the very beginning while we were waiting to start. Did people like this 1 day on, 1 day off mode for the workshop? All the information for the workshop will be on the website. So we'll post all the slides and the videos from the presentation. So if you were on another track, you can revisit that. And the Slack channel will remain open. And thank you very much. And I'll stop sharing now so I can see people in the chat. Thank you. Thank you so much for participating. All right, so I have, yes, please. I think I heard somebody's voice.
I just said, thanks, Ava.
Okay, thanks, Steve. And thank you for the people external to CICOE and to ResearchSoc for jumping in and participating and making this a true community event.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I just wanted to mention that in the chats, I followed up what Eva was talking about with a few links for you, and I send them in Slack as well, just to the CICE Pilot website, this CICS Workshop website, and also Alliance for CI.org, so you could get a little more information there. I also wanted to just kind of get the ball going. Were office hours useful? I think, you know, we were just playing with that format. We had it before a lot of the talks, and so maybe the conversation didn't flow enough because we didn't know what questions to ask, or how did things work out there for everybody? And you have to unmute yourself too, by the way, please. please.
Yes, and maybe did anybody that's on the call right now participate in the office hours?
Yeah, I was in them. I thought it was useful. It's a new format for everybody, including the attendees, I think. So I was there mostly to listen, but I think it's a great idea. I think everyone is still pretty new in these areas, so most people didn't know what to ask, but it's a good start, and I'd love to see it continue.
Great. Yeah, I think it is a challenge trying to, I think maybe next time we'll reorder things a little bit differently, maybe seed the discussions first and maybe do the office hours at the end of the day. I think that might be a better place, and maybe this will also help out if people want to continue discussions. We made that available for the Slack channels, the hallway discussions, but maybe that could be a place where people go and discuss things more deeply if they want to.
Did we miss a topic that, you know, in this workshop that you were expecting to hear about or discuss? Or wanted more? I'm gonna start naming Vinod, Werner, you know, anybody out there?
So for example, one of the topics, and we have expertise with Angela Murillo on the call in data archiving. You know, this is one of the topics that, sorry, Angela, to put you on the spot, but if you could just say a sentence or two of, you know, what that entails, and maybe that's something that people want to hear about in the future.
Sure, everyone. Hi, everyone. This is Angela, and yeah, it's something that I've been wanting to gain a better understanding of the long-term archiving aspects that are part of the cyber infrastructure community, and to hear more about the you know, the concerns that you have for long-term archiving and more short-term archiving. So if we think about it, when we were having interviews, we interviewed various groups this year, and you know, we'd hear from the participants that there were some short-term archiving needs that people, for data that people needed to use right away, as well as some more long-term archiving needs, and how each group, you know, makes a distinction as to what is important, you know, for the short term versus what's important for the long term, is something that we're really interested in understanding, so that we can, you know, better assist you with those needs, and also the type of technologies that you need, both for short-term archiving and long-term data archiving. So that's something that we're hoping to gain a better understanding, and you know, think about, you know, duplication, geographic location of your data, you know, if you're using cloud or if you're not using cloud, and all of the various aspects of both short-term and long-term data archiving. So yeah, if anyone, I would love to chat with anyone that has any anything to say about that. That's something that we're definitely hoping to investigate more for all the large facilities, and yeah, gain a better understanding.
Thank you, Angela.
Thanks, Eva.
That's a great question.
Yeah, so that was the voice of Steve Jacobs from Neon, I believe.
Yeah, that's number one thing I worry about is just the long-term cost of keeping all the data, and sort of the growth keeps going every year, and we're like in the second year of operations. It's supposed to be a 30-year program,
Yeah.
And the cost goes up and up, and it presents. I was talking to Susan about this earlier today. Like the procurement cycle for infrastructure doesn't align with renewals for contracts or anything else. And I think the timing we were looking at for on-premise object storage refresh was going to be 2 months into the next period of performance for whoever won the NEON program. And procuring multi-million-dollar infrastructure on a 2-month timeline into a new program isn't really something that can be done effectively, but then there's no budget in the current timeline to replace it. And yeah, that's sort of my number one concern, is just controlling the cost. And so finding more efficient formats for the data to take up less space has a huge implication over the long term of the program. Things like that are what we look at. But yeah, it's a big concern.
Great. So I think unless there are any other questions or points that people want to make, I think we'll just thank everybody very much. We hope to keep seeing you on Slack, and like I said, we'll post other videos and the slides online, and we'll plan new events that we hope that you'll participate in. Thank you.
Yes, thank you everybody for attending. We've collected a lot of your notes and your questions, and we're trying to compile them so that they can be available for you to review and maybe get a few more things in depth on there. So be on the lookout for communication from me probably. And thank you once again to all of our presenters, our note takers, our hosts for Zoom, and our security managers. And also the security log workshop, which was a success. I really want to say thank you for helping make this inaugural event really great. Susan, Eva, Todd, thank you very much for letting me
thank you, Wendy,
drive these things. All right.
You did awesome. Thank you. Awesome job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Everybody, see you next time.
Have a great rest. Yep. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you all.
Thank you.